Welcome back to the Week 17 final edition of my weekly NFL Pick'em, at least for the regular season. I hope that everybody had a great Christmas. I totally forgot that we were less than a week away from Christmas last week, or else I would have made the video obnoxiously Christmas themed, but I guess there's always next year. I actually got so wrapped up and distracted by the holiday season that I had to go back and review what happened in Week 16 just to make sure that I had my facts right on this one. There's a lot of clinching taking place in the NFL this week. The NFC is almost completely set, but the entire AFC seeding could be shuffled like 10 different ways. And then on the other side of things, the Cardinals, 49ers, and Jets are all in a position to clinch the top 3 picks in the 2019 NFL Draft. Because of all the potential resting of starters and possible tanking, this is going to be the hardest week of the year to predict, so let's just have some fun with it. And since this is the last regular season week, I'm using the ESPN playoff machine to show these picks so you can see the impact each game has on the playoff seeding as the picks happen, and the potential final standings if my picks actually happen. I want to thank all of you that rode with me on this long journey this season, whether you watched one episode or all of them. I appreciate it greatly. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed interacting with almost all of you. I'm looking forward to doing this for the playoffs and the Super Bowl, but next year should be even better. Last week, I asked for some suggestions on where to send a donation in honor of hitting 10,000 subscribers. I got a lot of really great organizations mentioned in the comments, but I chose St. Jude's because an overwhelming number of you suggested them, and some even shared stories of how they helped you out or your family. And then also, my last career was working with kids with special needs, so I've got a soft spot for the children. I went ahead and I made a $50 donation to St. Jude's, and I'll do a bigger donation on y'all's behalf at $20,000, $30,000, and so on and so forth. Here are the top picks from Week 16, and Lost End Zone had the best week. And these are the leading entries overall in this Pick'em challenge, with Golden Eagles and RK Knoll tied for the top spot overall, with Skins 18 nipping at their heels. This final week is going to be a close one, and there's a $50 NFL Shop gift card on the line. I'm now 59th overall, and I'm not too disappointed with my picks this year. I've really enjoyed this, had a lot of fun. I hope you guys did too. I'm going to continue to do this in the playoffs, but I'll probably have to start a new group so we can reset the scores and see who the best playoff predictor is. I'm also waiting for the order of the top 20 draft picks to be set, and I'll have a playoff edition mock draft for you guys sometime next week. There was a lot of movement between the schedule for Week 17 games and their kickoff times because the NFL wants the games with playoff implications to be played at the same time, so it prevents the outcome of a 1 p.m. game making a 4 p.m. game pointless. So the early slate of games is not nearly as good as the late games, but let's just go ahead and run through these early ones. Real quick before we get started, please remember to hit that like button. Our goal each week is 500 likes on these videos. We missed 1 week all season long. Let's go ahead and close out this season on a strong note, guys. I appreciate it. Let's get started. Dolphins at Bills. With the playoffs on the line, the Dolphins really came up short for the past 2 weeks, and it might be time to blow up the whole thing this offseason. They already got started with a culture change last year, but now is as good as time as ever for just a clean sweep. The Bills, on the other hand, look young, hungry, and seem to have a bright future ahead of them. I was among those unsure if Josh Allen would be able to get it done at the NFL level, and while he's definitely shown some of that questionable accuracy, in fact, it's been really bad at times, he's also shown great intangibles that make him a leader at the quarterback position, and I look forward to his development as the Bills try to improve the weapons around him this offseason. It's going to be too cold in Buffalo for those Miami boys to win basically an exhibition game. Bills win 26-13. Lions at Packers. At first I thought they should just cancel this game, but then I found out that former Colts punter Pat McAfee is making his broadcasting debut this week, and this is the game he'll be calling, so I'll definitely be checking it out a little bit. Neither team in this game has anything to gain, and the Packers may have made a late push last week to win in overtime against the Jets, but they seem like they had packed things up for the year for almost 3 quarters before that. If Matt Patricia has the green light from ownership and has been assured that he's got their confidence going into 2019, the Lions need to find a way to lose this game and secure the 5th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft. Packers win 28-19. Jaguars at Texans. The Jaguars managed to beat the Dolphins last week and cost themselves a few crucial spots in the draft. These guys can't even tank properly right now. And the Texans have been coming up short after that long winning streak, and they may have cost themselves a bye week in the process. What really sucks about that is the fact that the Patriots are now in line to get that number 2 seed. The Texans need to win and have the Patriots lose for them to get the 2 seed, but that's unlikely. If the Chargers and Chiefs also lose by some kind of miraculous act of the moons aligning, the Texans would be still the number 1 seed. I think it's most likely that the Texans end up in the 3rd seed, but all they can do at this point is just handle their business and beat the Jaguars. Texans win 31-16. Jets at Patriots. The Jets can lose and finish with no worse than the 3rd pick in the NFL Draft. On the other side of this one, the Patriots can lose and finish with no worse than the 4th seed. And with the first 2 seeds in the AFC playoffs still up for grabs, you know the Patriots are about to go to work. They need the Chargers and Chiefs to lose this weekend for the number 1 seed, and if that happens, God help us all. The Jets need to lay it all on the line here because one of the last few chapters of the Patriots dynasty could be rewritten forever if they pulled off this upset and drop them down to the 3rd or even the 4th seed in the playoffs. A guy can dream, right? right. I don't really see it happening. Patriots win 33-24. Panthers at Saints. This is another game that just doesn't really need to happen. The Saints are already the number 1 seed in the NFC, and the Panthers can only hurt their draft stock with a win. The only reason this game has any true appeal is that Teddy Bridgewater is going to play quite a bit, and we haven't seen him in extended action for quite a while. The Saints should have the better backup quarterback playing in this game, so since I have to pick a winner, I'm leaning towards them still winning. Saints win 20-13. Cowboys at Giants. The Cowboys have locked up the NFC East and are locked in as the number 4 seed. This game doesn't impact the playoffs for them, and they've already got some guys beat up and they could use that rest. Jason Garrett said he wants to keep their momentum going, and I think we're going to see most of their starters play at least in the first half. Saquon Barkley has one more game to state his claim to be the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year, and he should have a big day once the Cowboys pull their first string defense. Eli Manning says he's coming back next year, so I think he's probably going to want to instill some confidence and may actually play well in this game. The Cowboys can also hurt the Giants draft picks by allowing them to come away with the win here and basically knock them out of the top 10 of the NFL draft. Giants win 21-17. Falcons at Buccaneers. This is the 5th game in the early slate of games that just doesn't matter. Just saying. I'm not wasting much time on this one. I think that the Falcons are the better team overall, and they're slightly better coached team, but the Bucs are back home where they've played much better after struggling on the road for a few games here. The Falcons also haven't been that great on the road either, but they feel like a team that will be looking for a positive conclusion to an overall disappointing season, whereas the Bucs might have huge changes coming in the offseason. Falcons win 30-27. Now moving on to the late afternoon games, Browns at Ravens. This is such an awesome scenario for the Browns. They could win and potentially prevent the Ravens from winning the division or even making the playoffs. And if they lose, it knocks the Steelers out of the playoffs. So it's a win-win situation for them. Baker Mayfield is also trying to put the finishing touches on his potential Offensive Rookie of the Year campaign here, so this should be a good one. The Ravens control their destiny right now and just need to beat the Browns to win their division, and it doesn't even matter what the Steelers do. But beating the Browns is not going to be as easy as it's been in the past, and if they lose and the Steelers win, then their season's over. This is tough because I'm a big fan of both of these rookie quarterbacks. I look forward to seeing them compete for the AFC North for the next decade, hopefully, but I'm giving this one to Lamar Jackson because he's got the much more veteran squad behind him and the better defense. Ravens win 24-23. Eagles at Redskins. The Eagles have regained their magic with Nick Foles at quarterback. That game against the Texans was an amazing display of resiliency because Deshaun Watson was refusing to let them win that game. If they did all of this in the past 2 weeks to let the Redskins beat them in week 17 with it all on the line, I'll be pretty shocked. They still need the Bears to beat the Vikings, but either way, I think they can end this season feeling much better about it than they probably anticipated they would a month ago. Eagles win 31-23. Raiders at Chiefs. Despite it messing up their draft slotting, the Raiders went out and won a game for Oakland. Say what you want about the fan base, I think they deserve to go out like that. What happens with the Raiders in the future, we'll find out in the future, but I think that this was good closure regardless for Oakland. Now the Raiders have to go into Arrowhead and play the Chiefs with the division and the number 1 seed on the line. The Raiders are getting smoked. Chiefs win 35-17. Bears at Vikings. Bears head coach Matt Nagy is in kind of a tough spot here. The number 2 seed is still on the line if the Rams lose, but they have to be thinking that the Rams could probably beat the 49ers even on cruise control for a half. So it's pretty likely that the Bears land in the 3rd seed regardless. But what if they don't beat them? Check out this scenario. What if the Rams rest their starters in the second half and the 49ers come back and win? Do you throw away a chance at a bye week and put Chase Daniel out there? And oh yeah, just to complicate things further, the loss lets your division rival into the playoffs. I have no idea what Matt Nagy's going to do right now, but I do know that I would play my healthy starters for the first half and then reassess at halftime based on what's going on in the Rams game. I think that's your best option. He's got to feel good about his chances against the Vikings in the wild card round, so resting his guys in the second half isn't the end of the world, and I'd be more worried about the Eagles getting in as the 6th seed if you beat the Vikings and don't get the number 2 seed. Vikings win 26-20. Bengals at Steelers. Guys, the Steelers got jobbed last week. What else can I say? The NFL is laughing behind our backs because they can make these god-awful calls to steer games in their preferred direction early on, and we just accept the results and come back the following week for more, and there's nothing we can do about it. People say the NFL is going to be flag football in 10 years or so, but I think it's more likely to be headed towards WWE with these predetermined outcomes. The Steelers should respond and win this game against the Bengals, but it's probably too little too late for them to make the playoffs since their only option to get into the playoffs is winning the division. Steelers win 28-19. Chargers at Broncos. The Chargers have 2 outcomes here. They win and the Chiefs lose, then they are the number 1 seed. But if the Chiefs win, then this game is pretty irrelevant because the Chiefs win the division and they're locked in as the number 5 seed. This is another scenario where you play it like a preseason dress rehearsal and reevaluate at halftime based on how the Raiders-Chiefs game is going. The Broncos are another team that's about to clean house coaching-wise, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them come out pretty flat. Chargers win 29-16. 49ers at Rams. The 49ers put up another good effort against the Bears last week, but couldn't pull off the back-to-back upsets. In the meantime, the Raiders won on Monday Night Football, and that pushed the 49ers back up into the number 2 spot in the NFL draft. The Rams have secured the NFC West and lock up the number 2 seed in a bye week with a win here over the 49ers, or if the Bears lose to the Vikings. They'll probably be scoreboard watching the Bears-Vikings game to see if there's a time in the game where they feel comfortable pulling their starters, but I'd expect everybody that's fully healthy to get the start here. I also expect the 49ers to clinch the number 2 overall pick in the NFL draft this week. Rams win 27-20. Cardinals at Seahawks. The Cardinals have the number 1 overall pick on the line, and I don't even think that they can mess this up. For the Seahawks, this game could be the difference between the 5th or the 6th seed, which really isn't a huge deal, but they'd probably rather go to Dallas and play indoors against the Cowboys than risk the cold in Chicago. Plus, there's something about hitting 10 wins in a season that just feels good, so I don't expect them to rest very many of their starters in this one. Seahawks win 21-9. And then on Sunday Night Football, we've got Colts at Titans. This game was flexed in the Week 17 Sunday Night Football slot because it's basically a play-in game for the playoffs. This was probably the only thing I was able to predict happening a few weeks ago in my first playoff prediction video. And in this one, I just can't trust Marcus Mariota right now. I don't want to call him soft, but he's definitely borderline right now. Andrew Luck has been pretty clutch in the past, so I think that he wills the team to victory here, and they ride the momentum from their comeback win against the Giants last week. Colts win 23-19. That's going to do it for my Week 17 picks. Thanks for watching, commenting, subscribing, all that good stuff all year long, guys. Remember, we're trying to reach a goal here of 500 likes. So if you enjoyed this video, help a guy out, hit the like button. Don't forget to come back next week to see my playoff edition mock draft. Thank you for being one of the legends that stays to the end, and I will see you in the next video.